before I even heard the recording later in the month. And I'm thankful on this call on September 1st, he didn't play it for me. I didn't ask to hear it. He told me enough about it. He was like, I can't believe it. She thinks I should thank her and that like she doesn't owe me anything. Like, can you believe it? And I'm just like listening to him vent and stuff. But I'm like, to this day, I'm so thankful he didn't play it for me on that call, because I'd be even more of like one of the people, like a target for being accused of sharing it. I'm one of the few people for out of the ones I've named that he didn't play for it over the phone. I didn't hear it until September 8th, in person at a lunch, the infamous lunch now that was talked about on that space. So
Karen had already reached out to him in August. I mean, the next day after he recorded her, she reached out to him and said that Will contacted her and said somebody told him. It's like he said, she said she already, and there's text messages to prove that Karen reached out to Aiden, or that was just his word to you that, oh, she called me. Do you have proof that she sent him those messages,
I
Karen?
have ones from September 1st that I think are out there on the internet. I'm not going to ever share any
No.
any messages
Yeah.
with me and Karen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that like she and Joe have done. But I have seen messages between the two of them as early as September 1st. But he said she called him, I think, on the 31st. But I know for a fact she reached out to Will, and Will immediately went to him. And we had this conversation on the night of the 1st. I was like, I don't think it was Will who would have told her, because I don't think Will's that smart to like bluff like that she called him and asked him about it and then go back to you like that. I was like, I mean, that would be like really calculated, but I just don't think I'm sorry, but he's not that smart to do that.
I mean, sometimes people do that. They can steal from you and then tell you they're going to help you look for your money, right?
Yeah, but
or they
Will
can,
the level of intelligence just isn't there to me. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I just feel like that's so fast. That happened. I mean, this happened August 29th, and it's like literally the next day, she, somebody, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, there's only a handful of people. Supposedly he's saying that, but it's just a lot of he said, she said, right? And then it's like, okay, Will said somebody told him, so it's just like, how do you prove this to be the truth?
Yeah, I
That,
don't.
that
Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I think that's the thing. Like, I'm listening. I'm just trying to figure out how, how do you prove that all happened? That's just basically Aiden saying that. That's kind of like, we don't even know if what he told you was the truth
Yeah,
or
but at
why
this
he
point,
said
we
that.
know he also told Jess Machado that Nurse Kim and Will heard it. Like, where do you think she got that when she went on her show and was like, I know Will heard it, I know Kim heard it? The same. So unless you're right, there's a possibility Aiden's lying about who heard it, but he's told so many other people that those people heard it too. So what is it more likely that he's
Yeah.
lying, or is it likely that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
now he's lying. He's saying he's like Nurse Kim and Will, they had nothing to do with. They didn't hear it because now that it's all out there. But initially, he told. I can say publicly, obviously, he told me that, he told Jess that, and then I've heard from a couple other people who he spoke to very soon after that call that those two also heard it. So like, why that was a point where he had no reason to lie about it yet.
Yeah.
He
Right.
wasn't like caught. He didn't think, and that's the thing too. Even after she initially accused him, which was pretty much the very next day, he still thought that she was bluffing about having proof and having spoken to anybody. Because so for another couple of weeks before the whole Spaces stuff happened, he was still like confidently sharing it with people to try to get people on his side about this whole thing.
I just think it's crazy that he would think so. Like, if I recorded somebody tonight, right, on the phone, and then that person just contacts it, let's say I record somebody tonight and I tell like 2 or 3 people, oh, I recorded this person for whatever reason, and then the next day that person is like, oh, you recorded me, or I heard somebody said that you recorded me. I mean, I don't see how anybody could say, oh, that's probably the person just bluffing, because it's so close in time that I don't understand how that could be a bluff,
Valerie, that's exactly what I told him, but he like refused to believe anybody would betray him. And he was like, maybe I think she's just suspecting it, like maybe because she was so angry on the call. And in my head now, I'm like, yeah, maybe she was suspicious because you were so calm because you knew she was recording her. Maybe that's you in your own mind thinking she's paranoid. But the fact that she kept pushing it and knowing for sure she was like recorded, and she called Will, I was like, no, this isn't a bluff, Aiden.
Yeah,
Like, but he like
too
refused
close
to
in
believe
time.
any of them would betray him.
I mean, if it was like a few weeks later, then you could say, okay, well, who knows? Or maybe why is she saying that? I don't know, right? But literally the next day, it's like, how is that a bluff?
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
that's what I said to him. He like wouldn't believe that anybody would betray him.
And the night of the Wilbur, what was that date? September?
That was, I think, the 13th, I want to say. That was a Friday night, but that doesn't even, so that whole thing about the Wilbur doesn't even make sense because Karen already had it way before then, and before I had lunch with him and heard it for the first time.
So why do you think she sent him a message right after the Wilbur about him recording her? Why do you think she chose, like, why would she send another message to him right after the Wilbur?
I don't know for sure. So September 12th was the Wilbur. I just looked at the calendar. I don't know. I haven't asked her about that, to be honest. So I'm not going to ever share like our conversations with her, like specific details, but the whole conspiracy it has that we were like plotting this together from the start and like trying to take him down is just absolutely false. I am talking to her at this point in time just because he's pushed me to this point, and I've learned like just a lot more of the other stuff he's done, but there's no like plotting from the start. The first time I reached out to her, we'd always talked. We'd had a relationship throughout the trials and stuff. We were friendly before. I think the last time we spoke before this whole thing blew up, we talked about getting some drinks in August or something. It didn't end up happening, but then we just checked in. And then when Joe started talking about stuff that was making me think he was going back to her with information that was painting me in a light that I was like sharing things or doing something bad, I did feel the need to reach out to her. And that's when we first started talking about the recording for the first time. The only thing I've really gotten permission to reveal is, and I think you may have seen this, to reach out on the 13th. I don't know. One guess is that after the recordings happened, you guys might recall on Aiden's shows, he kept poking and poking, saying, I should be thankful for Karen Reed. He was like saying, asked to hear it at first because like he'd been hinting at it forever. Like he told me on the phone on this first what the conversation was that. I was like, oh, so okay. And then he kept poking her and gradually building this narrative that she's ungrateful. I've done everything and she's so mean to me and she's abandoning me. And maybe that's why she decided to finally reach out, because she was fed up with it. And I'm not speaking for her. That's just my guess. Like, I don't think it was anything like purposeful the day after the Wilbur. And I'll tell you right off the bat, this narrative that he's now spun with his sick friend Jimmy, that I was like sending it out the night of the Wilbur because I was so upset. Like, no, what people don't know is we had met at the lunch a couple days before the Wilbur, and then he came back over 2 days before the Wilbur to exchange things. And yeah, like I'm so mortified, honestly, that I ever like went near him again. But we hooked up both days. We were talking, and he invited me to come to the after party of it. He knew I had my brother's wedding. It was an early wedding, by the way. It started at 2:00, or no, the ceremony, we had pictures at 1:30, and then it started at 2:00. It was over and done with. So I came to the after party. Deanna was going to come. Lauren was there. I went with Lauren just to the after party, the encore. He invited me there, and things are fine. There was no like me being like scorned and stuff. And yeah, I sent him a drunk text to hook up, but what he didn't show you was all the text before then and then after. And yeah, then I texted him later the next day. I was like, sorry, I was drunk. I won't bother you. And then he texted me back immediately, like, it's okay, you're not bothering me. Like, how was the wedding? Trying to chat and chat and chat. And all week I ignored him because I was just like, no, like this is a really bad idea to start hooking up with him again this past week. Like, I'm not going down this road. He would text me about like his court cases and stuff and all this stuff. And I ignored him the whole week until I had to finally talk to him again, because we found out Tina was Marinil. Tina, who we also heard is back on his legal team because she was telling people she was going to a meeting with Cosgrove. So she was like gradually sliding her way back onto his legal team since he and I broke up. And I got the word that she actually went to a meeting with Tully and Cosgrove that week. So I was like, I've been like so happy, like not talking to him. I've been ignoring him all week, but I think I have to tell him that Tina's Marinil before I drop this bomb on the internet, but like to expose her. So like this thing that I was like scorned and missing him, like it's just couldn't be further from the truth. Like I have moved on. Like I get so like annoyed and just just a serious eye roll every time this narrative that I'm so devastated about not being Mrs. Turtle Boy anymore. It's just like, again, dude, no, most of the people in my like real life don't know what a turtle boy is. Like, imagine thinking that I'm devastated. Like, and he would tell me how like people only like me because I'm his girlfriend, and that's like basically just all this stuff to me. He wanted me to always feel lower than him, and the last year and a half we were together, like I kind of lost myself, and I was just always in kind of the background of everything, even in my own life, because it was focused on him and me dealing with every like fire that I had to put out with him in his life. And I'm finally feeling like myself again. And people are acting like me responding to him is like, this isn't who she is. This is a mental breakdown or something. Like, no, this is who I always was. I was a strong person before him, and I'm going to be a strong person after him. And it just took me a little while to come back to myself after kind of.
I mean, he twists things very easily. I can see what he does. So it's, it can look a certain way to people. Even, the whole Wilbur thing, I was like, well, to me that made sense. Like, yeah, you sent him a text, he didn't answer. You guys are, in this type of, relationship, even though you're broken up. Yeah, you know what? She probably did send it because, fuck him. And, so it can look that way from the outside without understanding there's so many pieces to
But
it
it wasn't, and
don't
he didn't. Of course, he doesn't post the full context of it and how he was.
Meredith,
yeah.
Let me interrupt for a second. Finally, I got my speaker working. Thank you. And that was me that hit that noise by accident. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But what you said exactly is true. Like, he played all those text messages only from his side and made it sound like you were, the most controlling, crazy girlfriend that was always texting him. He didn't show both sides. I mean, obviously in a relationship, if you just read one
I was like, he's never going to let me go unless he thinks that it's his idea. He doesn't let people go like quietly. That like, look at all of the fires that in the wake of every time he ends a relationship with anybody, not even just personal, business, like the podcast guys, the other people, everything. Like, he's not going to ever let me go unless he thinks it's his idea and he's ending it. So, and that's why I didn't reach out to him when we broke up for I don't even know how long. I think I had to because of the Chelsea thing eventually, because when she made that account and was called and that weird voicemail. But I basically was like, I didn't plan on talking to you again, but I just think you should know this because like I think she's dangerous, and that was it. And other than that, I never reached out, never called him. He was the one to initiate most of our contact, like calling me the day of the Howie Carr show. And the week right up before the Wilbur, when we ended up hooking up, that was all initiated by him. We were supposed to just exchange stuff. It ended up turning into a lunch. And then it was, okay, come up and get your stuff. And I was like, all right, bye. It was good to see you. And he was the one who was like, I just want to hug you. And like, I miss you. And like, you look so good. And I don't look good anymore. And like, it was like, and again, this is shit I never wanted to share, but like, he's not
He also said it on that recording when he admitted to recording Karen. He said, fine, if you want to leave me because I recorded Karen, fine. So right there, he also said it, that you were leaving him because of that, which makes no sense if he had broke up with you or was the one.
Yeah,
Correct.
I'm trying to remember. I think that may have been actually directed at like his fans, like anybody who wants to stop following him because of the recording.
Oh.
But yeah, and like the very end of our conversations, one of the last times we spoke, he wanted to keep talking, and like what drove him off the edge was because we were getting like too close when we were talking again daily because of this recording thing and like me trying to cover for him and stuff. It was just falling back into old patterns. Like we were getting along for a lot of the beginning of the recording gate because I was doing what he wanted, and then it turned into
recording
him,
gate.
Yeah, and then it turned into like him asking me advice about his documentary and all this other stuff like that had nothing to do with the recording. And then it just became, it's like suddenly we're talking for like 2 hours a day again, and like it's like, no, I'm not going to just go back to being your emotional support and your secretary and helping you. Like one of the last things I did was like put him in touch with this like entertainment lawyer who'd done a ton of work looking at his contracts before, but he never took it upon himself to actually hire somebody because he was worried about his documentary, and it was just becoming too comfortable. I was like, look, I can't keep doing this, and I blocked him on everything, and he was like furious, trying to talk through somebody else to get in touch with me, and then he goes on Twitter and starts making tweets that Joe Flipper had that like have to do with me, that he was trying to like taunt me into reaching out to him. And then that was when he and Joe became like buddies and like found, because I deleted 2 texts and a whole screen recording of me and Joe, that like I'm the evil one, and that's how that bromance started, which is clearly working out well for them. But yeah, that's like, he doesn't like to let people go. That's he likes to control people. Like even after we broke up, like some of our conversations we had during this recording is like, who I'm friends with, like you shouldn't want to be friends with Karen Reed. Like, why do you even like her? Like, well, who cares? And it's like, I'm your ex-girlfriend. Why do you care who the fuck I want to be friends with? That's none of your business. And like the audacity that you think like you should be controlling who I'm friends with at this point when we're broken up is just wild. And it just says everything about who he is.
I actually, that's a good point, Meredith. I think that a lot of the reason he's being so like bashing you on all his lives for a million hours is because now that you're, talking to Karen Reed, he's like extremely jealous, because I think that is a big part of it that maybe is being overlooked. I don't know, just my opinion.
He wanted to control her just like he wanted to control me. He was planting this seed long ago that the HBO documentary was so bad for her, and like I had to save her reputation for her, and she owes me for all this stuff. And it's like, honestly, it wasn't really that bad. I actually thought it was really useful in putting out a lot of like the stuff about the like the Alberts and the Caves and stuff, to be honest. So, like, even though clearly like the producer had a falling out with Karen, there were some unfortunate clips. Like overall, I think it still was like, she's clearly innocent here. So I didn't think it was that bad. I think he overplayed and exaggerated how bad it was, and everybody has slowly started to believe it. Like, oh, Aiden saved Karen and her like image. And it's like, can you imagine thinking this guy who's constantly talking these nasty sexual things, saying cunt and how many times are you going to say, I went to jail for Karen, I went to jail for Karen? Do you ever admit that you've also made like nearly $2 million off of Karen in the last couple of years since this started? You didn't like, your following was like nothing what it is now. And that's why a lot of these people are standing by him, I think, because they're new. they didn't know him before and know that like most of the population sees if they've been following him from a bunch of stories. Like he was right about the Karen Read story. He was right about it because he was handed it from the main person involved in it. But so they only see him for being right with his reporting on this case. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's so many stories going on right now. Like instead, he chose to talk.
So when he was bashing on Flip and mad at Flip, he said anybody that supported him was team domestic abuse. And then now it's moved to Meredith. If you support Meredith, you're team mental illness. But after he said everybody was team domestic abuse, a week later he was retracting. Oh, actually, Flip's not a bad guy. I was wrong about him. But that's what he does.
He said, you know what, Flip could get into good standings with me if he just makes videos. Go back to making videos about me, like basically, like, you know, be on my side and we can be friends again. What did he do? I mean, listen, what happened with Flip and Olivia? I'm not gonna be like, oh, I was on his side for that. I am, and I believe that was fucked up, in my opinion, and I'm gonna stick with that, you know. But like, two things can be true too. So he, you know, because he was so outed and you know, Aiden said such bad things about him, he probably feels like this is my opportunity to be in his good graces, and now he's kind of going for that, which, I mean, that's his choice. But I don't, I mean, like, you're a mental patient and now you want to.
It's all because of his hatred of me, which is so weird because Aiden has done far worse to him than I
But-
ever did.
Right. You deleted two
Like-
texts.
It was like, I'm hearing that like Meredith O'Neill like arranged this like 21-year-old hooking up with Aiden, like let's call her Meredith Maxwell. That was the very post I sent to Joe. Like there was no me crying because I was jealous about him and hooking up with a 21-year-old. It was me venting and being unhappy that I'm being tagged and dragged into Aiden's bullshit after we'd broken up. Like long.
Jess also told her whole audience to call you Meredith.
Oh, I heard. I don't. Shows. I definitely was when she first started talking about a month ago in the recording gate, but now I don't need to because I know she just makes her whole shows about me and people just send me the highlights. Sent Will his own police report where it talks about him beating a woman, smacking her in the face till she's bleeding. I know he has this whole spiel that he's taken accountability for his past, but I don't remember hearing about that. I don't think anybody heard about that. So I sent it to him and asked him if he had any comment on it because Will has spent the last 2 weeks saying, Meredith's crazy, man. I'm afraid of her. Like this dude really who's like 6 something and like 5 times my size is talking about being afraid of me when Aiden, like the little puppy dog he is. He sends Aiden those screenshots. Aiden's having another meltdown. Aiden posts them on for his 150,000 followers to see Will's police report about him smacking a woman. I was like, well played. And then
God.
that same night, I make a tweet about what a fraud Aiden is with lying, this lie that his legal bills are more than Karen's, and nobody, nobody should donate to Karen's legal fund because mine is more important. Like, nobody give $1 to hers. Mine's important. I'm the only one facing 100 years in jail. Don't give to Karen's, blah, blah, blah. So I outlined like his like sense of reality is just so warped to be able to say with a straight face that his trial and his legal bills are more than Karen's, like not even remotely close. So I know exactly what his big legal bills were because I was with him and he would whine about every time they came in and he would tell me to go, I'm going to give Bettero another $10,000 or whatever this day. Like I knew. So I put them together. They were, it actually, his legal fund was like his fully paid for all the bills that I knew of. And I made a tweet breaking it down. And then I get Jess to go on her show and say,
Like his turtle chats and his memberships are double and triple and quadruple billing people. When he did that live and he showed his turtle chat wall, he scrolled past it, but I just did a video and slowed it down. Like on one screen, there's still one chat, like $25 donation with the same number and message, and then duplicates of another. He's saying it's not duplicates when he says I already read that message, but it is. And he showed it on his live. He just scrolled past it so quickly, people didn't see it. But if you pause it, you can see they're going through 2 and 3 times.
she's definitely not blocked. I follow her.
Yeah, but can I say something? Kit Kat Nurse 95. I've had some run-ins with her. I feel like she's pro Aiden, and every time when he was doing all that stuff on his live, and she's always commenting and saying nasty things. So I don't know. You want to?
I don't know. There's another kitty cat or something that is bad. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. There's 2 different ones, but
yeah, there is 2 different ones.
Yeah,
Kit
Kat Nurse is definitely not. I don't want to speak for her, but she's not on that side, for lack of better words.
Okay.
But there is another kitty cat who's
if it's the
awful.
kitty, is it the kitty Naps that hates Jason and is like fully teaming in? No, I will not.
Nasty. So I don't know. And I remember that name, Kit Kat Nurse.
She's the homie. She's
No,
good
Kit
people.
Kat Nurse is awesome. Yeah,
So
and I've
maybe
had like a few people message others saying I blocked them before in the past. Like I definitely blocked a lot of people at the start of this recording things. A lot of people were like, Meredith is lying too. Meredith won't tell the truth and stuff. So like, if you want me unblocked, just ask like Chris or somebody else on here that I clearly haven't blocked. And
you know what's frustrating too, because there's a lot of people I like, and sometimes I forget, like, oh, I like that person, then I'm like, oh, this person is friends with that person, and then I'm like, oh, this person. Then all of a sudden, it's like you get it's confusing, right? Because it's a lot of people, and then you forget sometimes, who's who. So
no, I definitely do that too. So you're definitely not alone in that.
And things change too. Like, I mean, I had you blocked at one point, I think, Valerie, when you were like, I was lying. Like things change. And it's honestly, it's funny how a lot of like my feelings have aligned with other people's that I never would have thought in the last couple weeks.
Ditto. Valerie
Yeah.
had me blocked, and
I
you should have, because
I
I was mean to you, and I already apologized. But yeah,
think the important thing is, and the mature thing is, when you get new information about things and you
Yep.
say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to change my opinion about this based on this because I have new information that makes me feel differently. And you could say, like, you know what, maybe I was wrong about that, or maybe I feel differently now.
yeah,
And nothing is just black and white, right? So, a lot of times on the internet, people are attacking you. And it's not that I'm trying to be nasty, but sometimes it's just you want to just defend yourself. So, like, if you're like, fuck you, I'm like, fuck you, bitch, right? Even though sometimes, because we're just disagreeing, and for whatever reason, it happens like that. Maybe I'm having a bad day and I might be like, hey, fuck you. Like, and you're like, and then we say, you know what? Oh, I kind of agree with what she said. And then I might get some more information and say, you know what? Maybe I feel differently about that situation. So I'm willing to, like, you know,
yeah.
so
Valerie, I'm so glad you said that, because like LM. Read everything she put out. And guess what? New information, new perspective. And that's not called like lack of conviction. That's like I have, growth, and I have new opinions based off of exactly what you just said, Valerie. So I'm glad you
Yeah.
said that, because people are
And
like, why are
intelligent
you
people
changing?
do
Why
that.
are you doing this?
Intelligent people that think they're always right and that's it, are not people that, like, I respect people that can say, you know what, maybe I was wrong. I have new information.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my opinion, and we can, I like people like that, and it shows in maturity. And I feel like people like that are smart and intellectual. So I can respect the fact that, you said, I apologize. I said, I'm sorry. Whatever, we might have cursed at each other or whatever we did, for whatever reason. Sometimes you don't remember everything interaction of why
Right.
things happened the way they did, but for the most part, we come to an agreement and we say, yeah, I think like that too. I feel like it's healthier.
It's growth. Definitely.
Yeah, it's growth, right? It's growth, exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
that it shows like a clear divide in like what's happening kind of right now, because there are people who are asking questions or kind of trying to focus on like the point instead of, oh, you recorded too. It's like, okay, well, why was Karen recorded in the first place? And then there's people who just kind of blindly, spew whatever rhetoric is coming from whatever YouTuber is saying that. I like, even just like looking in the comments now, there are just people randomly bringing up shit about Meredith that is like absolutely not fucking relevant to anything that's being talked about. And then you have people that are like asking questions because they want to understand. And it's really, I just think that there's not a lot of nuance in here. It's really kind of the people who want to know and the people who want to believe.
Yeah, I think Valerie, sticking up for Karen in the beginning of this and how I felt, and then you made a post like, "Girl, speak your truth," and it was like a screenshot of me liking them all, and I was like, I think I messaged you, Tara, and I was like, "Oh my God, please, I'm begging you, like, what can I do to get you to take this down? Aiden is already
So
like threatening with me, like, please." I was like, "I'll do anything," like, and that's
I
literally
remember that.
how I felt for like over a month with this, and just the daily, it would go back and forth between him being like nice to me and then him threatening to do a show about me and expose me, because like Jess was like started talking about me, and I was like, I have to defend myself against Satan. He's like, no, no, don't say a word. Like, everybody will just like move on to the next thing. He's like, and you don't need to like explain yourself. I'll just say on my show it wasn't you, and people just blindly believe me. So like the text you saw, I think, where I'm like, okay, I was like following up with that. I was like, okay, a lot of people are now saying like spreading stuff about me. Are you gonna say it on your show? Like, don't forget, like you promised. That's why I'm not saying anything. That's why I'm not saying I heard a recording like publicly, because you said you would just say that. And he did, but he would get so mad if I talked to anybody about this for so long. Like, it started the very next day when, after that space, when Chris had mentioned the lunch. So I found out Joe had already sent the text where I'm saying, I heard it and 4 other people, whatever, to Lily and to Chris, and Lily went right back to Aiden with it the next day, and that's what first set him off to screaming at me. So
So that was Lily. So I was that was my, I was wondering what, because what she actually sent to him. So she sent, tell me again what Lily sent to him.
it was a text of me texting Joe, which I think ended up online the next week anyways. Chris ended up posting it, where I basically am like, yeah, he played it for me at lunch, and he told me 4 people heard it, and Karen, I forget exactly what the words are, but it's basically, it's me admitting to hearing the recording and him playing it at lunch, and that's what went to Aiden, like, pretty much the very next day before.
After those, after that Spaces.
Yes.
And then, and that was my question to the other night is, why do you keep telling people to go to him directly? Like, I don't understand. And then, you know, especially the fact that she's like, oh, well, and she said in a comment that she ended up feeling guilty about the Spaces and wanted to speak to him, you know, one-on-one. But I'm like, well, you felt guilty, and then you spoke to him, and then you gave him information. So like, I don't understand how that, I mean, that benefited him. So of course he was happy about that.
Right.
But basically, like, your advice is for us to give in to him, and just because it's not like, oh, you're going to speak to him one-on-one and he's going to be like some different person. I feel like I don't understand her reasoning for that.
I think he told me that he basically told her, like, I can't admit to anything. I'm out on bail, which I get. And I told him not to. And that's why his lawyers told him to stop talking about it. And that was, Karen never wanted to, like, take this. Like, I knew very early on that was not her plan. And to do anything legally, and was basically like, Aiden needs to stop, like, talking so much crap about her, or we will like take legal action, and that's it. And of course he couldn't help himself, and she still hasn't done that. Nobody wants to send him to jail. Nobody wants to take him away from his kids. We're reacting to just
Right.
months and months of just slander and just behind the scenes, and now as himself. Like, we're at the point where he's calling Karen Reed a cunt publicly, and that's accepted, and nobody wants to speak up. And that's how we've gotten here, from just people not saying anything and not questioning it, and being afraid of him.
Yeah, they created YouTube channels. Like, listen,
Ray from Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, people are crazy. They're like, oh, you can't stop talking about Ray from Dallas. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna bring it up because it's an example of the behavior that he's doing, right? Like, Ray from Dallas is a perfect example. Like, that channel was created just to bash Karen Reed and bash anybody that's against Aiden, right? That's what that, and Will, because I honestly, I feel like Will kind of I think Will kind of like put it into motion, and then, you know, then it's kind of like Aiden is like, all right, because I've seen him in the comments and stuff, because yeah, I've listened to it. He talks shit about me, so of course I want to hear what the hell he had to say a few times. I mean, I don't watch it anymore, it's been a while, but yeah, that whole you that he
And
yeah, and the stuff that he would say was like that olive oil, long neck. He would bitch and cunt, and she's a vindictive cunt bitch. I mean, like, the stuff that he would say, it's like, that's horrible. Like, this woman just spent all this time fighting for her life, and it's like, you think, and he's saying that Ray from Dallas is awesome. Like, that really is just like, I mean, that's that in itself.
I think we've all been called bitches now by Ray.
I just want to say, Valerie, I am, after now, like, I haven't listened to him since he did a 10-minute rant on me that he posted on Twitter a few weeks ago. And just the way I felt hearing that, just like the guy, just his aggressive voice, just like threatening me, like talking about, like, you need, like, you miss, like, riding Aiden's dick, and like, just the way you're just, I was so, like, I just could not stop crying hearing that. Now I'm ashamed of myself for letting it feel that way, because he's just a disgusting person, and I should never let that get to me. But I am so sorry that I never, like, that wasn't what triggered me to, like, stand up to this and stop with this alleged recording shit sooner and stand up to him. I'm sorry that it took just me being personally blasted by Aiden enough is what finally pushed me to this point, because the people that have gotten destroyed, like you and others in this, it's not fair, and it's just wrong, and I'm sorry for not speaking up sooner.
Oh, well, that's okay. I believe it or not, I don't think Ray from Dallas is funny, but some of the stuff that he was saying, I was just like, it's laughable. It's just like it's
Yeah.
disgusting. Anything I would cry about. So
talking about that you started this. He's like, Meredith started this. If she never posted that video of me, this never would have come out. I never would have had these lives, and I never would have talked about it. But like, people need to know that you didn't start this.
Yeah, I mean, if
He
people don't
sent
realize that,
Chelsea.
yeah. But
I
not
hope
only
people realize
Chelsea,
that.
he sent Jess Machado before Chelsea, and then
Yeah.
the Joe Flipper, like those Joe Flipper had messages with him where he's telling a one-sided story about that night in March and saying all these horrible things about me, how I'm crazy, how I must have leaked the recording. Those have been out there for a whole month before we got to this point where I started defending myself. I even like let those stand, and he was like, well, like Joe's crazy, and he put on, nobody listens to him. He was like, don't even respond to it. Who cares? Like, blah blah blah. But now, like, he's since admitted on his shows that he texted Joe that stuff purposely, knowing Joe would leak it all over the internet. So first of all, I didn't start it with Chelsea, but this has been going on since the middle of October, since the last day I talked to him, I think was the 15th, and he was like trying to get me to keep talking to him and saying I needed to apologize to him for like the 50th time for talking to Joe. And I was just like, no, like we're done. We're done talking. I was like, so what? He's gonna try and ruin my life. He's threatening to call me work. He's gonna do it eventually because that's what he wants. So he's leaked stuff with Joe. He has Jess start going after me. This, like, I didn't start this.
Right.
I tried to avoid this, and I took so much and didn't defend myself. Like, people were in my DMs like, why aren't you speaking up? Like, did you really like do all this stuff? And I'm like, excuse to go totally nuclear
Right.
on me. And what
So you defended
admitted.
yourself. You defended yourself after all this, and then he's twisted it, obviously, to his audience and
like
make it seem like you posted these awful videos of him. But he already had all those videos out.
he'd been
Plus all the
sending them
stuff you're
around. He
saying.
sent them around
Yeah.
to people. I have texts of him in October threatening to post them if I talk about the recording and clear my name about the timeline of the recording. He'd been itching to do this. Chelsea posted the first video when she came on Twitter, like the week of
So it was
Thanksgiving.
convenient for him. It was
Yeah.
convenient timing for him to just be like, well, no, it's all Meredith's fault. Meredith's responsible for everything.
Chelsea admitted the other night, she admitted that she came on to Twitter to defend her friend. She literally said that.
Yeah.
Oh, she said to save her friend.
To
She had
save her friend.
He was scared. Remember, he was scared. She had to
Scared
save
of
him.
what? So that scared of what? I hadn't spoken to him in over a month when you did this. Over a month. October 15th is the last time we spoke. Scared of what? And
I mean,
So-
this girl is not smart. She's afraid of a long expression that's been going around for ages. She thinks I told her to kill herself. So
But-
she's not a smart girl. So
But that
I don't know what
narrative has changed. Remember, she first said she came on here to Twitter because I was harassing her, and then I showed. I'm telling you, I have not ever called this girl. I don't have her number to this day. The only conversations we've had is when she came in my inbox on Facebook accusing me of friend requesting her 3 times. I don't even know how you do that if you send it, like, I don't know how you would. Like, she was just showing the same screenshot over and over again on different dates.
Yeah.
As a pending friend request. I don't remember friending her. If I did, I told her, like, other people did at the time have access to my Facebook because they wanted to see Karen Reed stuff. Somebody else could have hit it. I don't know. I've liked things accidentally. I even said, I was like, I may have done it, but it was accidentally. I'm like, this friending thing 3 times. But it was so weird because she was being so like strange about it. So I even did ask Aiden, I was like, do you know this person? Like, why is she so weird about a friend request? Because I blocked her on Facebook, and then she messaged me on another Twitter account, like a Twitter account about it too, like a couple days later. I'm like, you're still like worked up over a Facebook for friend request from somebody who has blocked you on Facebook? Like, it was fucking weird. So I asked Ian, so I was like, do you know this person? He's like, oh yeah, she's just like a fan or something. I was like, why is she messaging me this weird stuff on Facebook? He's like, I don't know. I have like a lot of crazy fans who message me weird stuff. I was like, yeah, that's true, because there are other crazy people like that follow him that had messaged me weird stuff. Nothing like aggressive like that, but he just like brushed it off. And now we know, I found out in June, they were like sexting. So she was like clearly trying to upset me or do something with me. And I found recently, which like this is like a crime in her book. She liked my post on May 18th before she sent me the mess. I don't know if it was before or after, but around the time she was liking my Facebook post. I'd made a Facebook post in Justice that was like about a fundraiser for Aiden's defense fund, like a dinner at Chili's or something. And
Oh,
she liked
that.
it. Clearly she didn't really like it because it was a dinner that I was going to be going to with Aiden. So I'm
She
assuming,
probably liked it by mistake while she was being nosy looking at your stuff.
or
Yeah.
she was trying to like send a message. I don't know. a
Or
weird-
like, oh, look at me, like, you know, to make it like, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but she comes on here claiming she's on here because I've been harassing her for months and I called her 2,200 times. It's like, girl, if somebody
Nobody
calls you
believes
20,
her.
she
Nobody
still has
believes
Nobody
not
her.
believes.
shown a single screenshot of anybody calling her 2,200 times. Like, girl, I would have hoped you've gone to the police by now. I like put the math in for like the months since this happened, and it was like it equated to like somebody calling her every 20 minutes for like 4 months straight. Like, I would have hoped you've gone to the police by now, and she
Yeah.
still refuses to show any proof of it. The one text she shows, again, not even my number, it's some random number, but she also won't show a text from that date. She shows a screenshot that she took on July 23rd, but she won't. The only screenshot she shows, it says today in the text. So it's like, how do we know today is July 23rd? Why can't you just go into that text and it'll say, I did a demonstration for it. I was like, if I go to a text from August, it now says August 30th. It doesn't say today. I was like, can you just do that? Why do you
Yeah.
need to use an old screenshot? Like, because you can easily edit the metadata on it to make it say July 23rd. Why can't you just show her date? She's like, well, I deleted it. It's like, okay, bitch, if somebody was stalking you for 3 months, wouldn't you keep it? You keep all
Yeah.
these weird screenshots from way earlier than July when you're claiming this text
She
was.
liked your
Why are
videos.
you deleting text if it's proof that somebody's stalking you? Like, why haven't you filed a police report for this?
I feel like she's a stupid woman that's trying to be
She
relevant.
sent she
At the
Yes.
end of the day, she knew he was in a relationship with you because it was a public thing, and she was, you know, entertaining him, trying to whatever behind the scenes, and then whatever you found out, or you were trying to figure out who she was, which a lot of girlfriends do that because I've done it
But I
too.
didn't even know who she was
Not,
until June 18th, and I have Aiden in the phone call that when I was in Rhode Island that I've shown where he admits I didn't know who she was until June 18th, the night of the verdict. I see their Facebook messages up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is
oh,
gross.
so they were the night of the verdict.
No, I found out about them
Oh, you
sexting
found out about it.
no, and um this is like I think the earliest one was in April. So before she started with the weird messages to me, the friend request, but it was definitely going on in May too when she sent me those weird messages about friend requesting her. So like this was happening while she was sexting with my boyfriend. She knew that we were still together. We were still like publicly all together and stuff. And besides what he tells it, he's like, oh, like we broke up and stuff. I think my text and call log with him tells a very different story.
Oh, you guys are on a break. But God, listen, men will say that. Oh, yeah, I was talking to this girl. We were on a break. It's like, you know what? Okay, whatever.
And I don't
like,
blame the other people except for Chelsea, who's like going after this, but still, like, I would never, when like we had a public relationship, obviously, I would not be going after and actively pursuing somebody who's like clearly still with somebody, like to some
I
extent.
just feel like she just looks stupid to me. Like to come and try to say, oh, you know, she's harassed. I mean, it's just like
She came in, yeah.
you were
And do you see the text she releases recently where it's in July and she's like, my blood pressure or something is up in the stats because of this harassment. I've lost work because of this harassment. Like, girl,
oh my
why have you
God.
not
Oh,
gone to the police if somebody,
you?
the fact
Oh my
that
God.
she's claiming all of this distress over this fake, and Aiden knows this too. Aiden probably knows she's crazy, but he's probably shared
Yeah,
too
like
much
that's
with her at this
laughable.
point. If she turns on him, he's fucked because it just makes the whole thing look even sillier. He knows he would laugh at somebody like this for how insane and
Right.
crazy they
You know
are.
what?
Yeah.
Like,
She might fuck around and
Totally
sue
knows.
him.
He totally knows that she is absolutely crazy. He put
and
her out up
ratchet.
to
He
this.
knows she's ratchet too.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I can only tell like the secondhand embarrassment he's probably having every time she posts something, like especially on Thanksgiving Day, where like she doesn't even think to wait like 10 minutes before like posting like I'm sorry, Aiden, for ruining your Thanksgiving. I didn't mean to do this. Like she's probably
Oh
like, you
my God.
idiot. You're supposed to wait like a little bit so it's not obvious that we planned this for you to take like the blame for this. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
probably
Meanwhile,
like,
she has 7
I
followers.
mean,
She's
she
one of
thinks
them.
her big flex is like, because now, I mean, I guess, you know, because you are so clever and your posts are so great. You're so eloquent in what you write. So you like put her in her place. So now she like for some reason is going after me. But so she thinks her big flex here is that she found my YouTube account. I have 11 subs. Like I'm gonna do anything to anybody in the world. Like what? Like that's what she posted.
7. I don't
I'm
even.
like, oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Also,
What am I gonna do?
she blocks anybody that disagrees with her, like Aiden, and that's what I want. There's somebody in the comments, vent, and I've seen a couple people say it, complaining about Meredith not having the comments open or blocking people. You guys do realize Aiden does the same thing.
Yeah, well,
He
he probably is
used in
calling her
YouTube
and telling her, just block them, just block them. That's probably what he's telling you to do.
and blocked everybody from anybody that disagrees with him. He blocks on Twitter. And if you go in his lives and say anything on YouTube, you get muted.
Well, you
And
get
And he
Altman
finds
telling
Jen
them
you.
Altman is
so
You
fast
get
so
Jen
too.
Altman telling you what to do and what
you
to
got,
say, and
yeah.
that to warn you.
Oh, she's gonna be the best gift in like 8 months that's ever
Oh,
happened. She
yes.
will turn on him. She's already kind of
But they've
kooky,
already done
and
that.
there's nothing
Yeah.
worse than after a kooky woman and then being burned by a man.
Oh,
She's gonna
Chelsea.
lose her mind. Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, do
And
you remember
it
one of
will happen. It will happen.
Yes.
she finds a way to make herself the victim out of like everything. So first of all, she comes on here like Meredith has harassed me for months. I'm no longer staying silent. People are like, who are you? And she's like, Meredith has called me relentless harassment, 2,200 phone calls, like saying that now these texts were. It's kind of actually Aiden must be like it must be dawning on him. These texts that I've now seen in July, where she's claiming I'm calling her like all these times, and she's like, I'm lost work. I don't know if I can talk. I can't get out of bed. It's like, girl, why haven't you gone to the police if this is really happening? She's not shown a shred of proof of anybody calling her 2,200 times, let alone me. She's shown the same old screenshot over and over again. She one of her first posts, it was like a picture of her looking like an alien from like 2023, a public Facebook photo. I was able to go on that night and find it. It was still public. She was like, she had to be in Aiden's Facebook because she only could have gotten it if Aiden's the only. First of all, too, like people have herself the victim of whatever condition she has. Like that's her whole identity, is being the victim of whether it's her condition or other people. People have sent me a lot of shit. Anyways, the point is it couldn't only be from Aiden's Facebook that I got this, but this picture, it was on her fucking public profile. And she's like, see, this is here's a picture. Meredith was trying, like days later after I posted this, Meredith posted a picture of herself doing the same pose and the same, she was copying me. And it was like, girl, this photo was from 2023, 2 years ago. It was a public Facebook photo. The two pictures she's putting up of me look nothing like whatever kind of alien filtered thing is going on. It's in her car. The pictures, two of the pictures, so one was me right before going out, standing at my door, and the other one was me on a run at Uncle Joe's house, the Moakley courthouse, being like pull up. I was doing like a fist. It was literally nothing like her, and she that must have been the point where Eden was like, "Fuck, this is bad." Like I trusted this low IQ, like I don't know what to call her, with my PR and my takedown of Meredith. This was a bad idea. So I think that's when, after I started posting that, that's when she started posting the videos from March 4th. So yeah, to be clear, for anybody who thinks that I started this, she posted the very first video of that night, and it was a very tiny clip of like almost, I think there's probably like over 20 minutes of footage from that night that I know about, that I've seen, that Aiden's shared with me or other people, like either threatened me or he shared it with all these other people, like behind the scenes. I've seen about 20 minutes of footage, and she shares like this 20-second clip where I'm like saying he hit me or something. I forget which one leaked first. So yeah, I was obviously going to leak more from what happened that night to defend myself. And I know this is yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but this was like a private drunk argument between two adults in our apartment. I never reported anything to anybody. I never went to the police. I never even told anybody that. I wanted him to stop filming me. He'd been following me around my apartment for probably an hour at that point with his phone in my face. He was causing a huge disturbance in my pretty small apartment building, where I was convinced the neighbors or somebody was going to call the cops because he was being so loud. I wanted him to either get back inside or to leave because he was creating a huge disturbance. And he's painted it out to be this like domestic violence incident, like against him, like where he's the victim and he's having like
No.
PTSD.
That's been in a fight with their boyfriends in a toxic
It's
relationship.
an embarrassing drunk
Understand.
fight that I never wanted to see the light.
pathetic
they
and
Why
ran
are
with
we
disgusting.
that.
posting this almost 9 months later now?
Yeah.
Like, if I was going to do something, it would have been done by now. The fact that I didn't report it he doesn't need insurance or anything. This was purely for embarrassment, purely retaliation because to scare me from talking about the recording. He thinks I'll just go away. He thinks he's going to bully me. He thinks I'll just let the record stand because Aiden says so with his non receipts, just as fact. And he thinks I'm not gonna stand up for myself. He was counting on that. He was banking on that, and that's not gonna happen. So yeah,
Meredith, can I ask you a question?
sure.
Do you think that he was creating like little fires in people's heads about you or like your level of saneness or whatever because he thought that you were going to go to Karen with this recording? So he was kind of setting up like a narrative that you're this crazy person. So if you did come forward and did speak on it, it would invalidate anything you were trying to say.
Absolutely, he did. Absolutely, he was. That's totally part of it. And he'd been doing it for a long time. Deny it anymore. He was lying, saying he never recorded Karen, because obviously there had been rumblings out there, and then the text leak where Karen's saying like Ian recorded me, like when Karen's texting Joe Flipperhead, that leaked. He's still denying it to Mark, and he had to. I found out recently he told Mark that I was there with them on August 29th, and the exact words were that I was there recording over their shoulder, like recording him and Karen, like to paint me as the ultimate bad person in this. Not only he's already saying I'm sharing it, but it was actually a betrayal. Meredith betrayed Karen and Aiden by doing this when like it was
But you know
so
what's
easily
crazy?
to prove that I wasn't anywhere near him then. We weren't even talking then, and he was willing to throw
Right.
me on the bus from the very beginning, all while threatening me to be quiet and not defend myself from sharing it. So he's fine with me being accused of a felony of illegally sharing a legally recorded wiretap, but he and also now of doing the wiretapping, but I'm not allowed to defend myself, and yeah, it's truly
He
sick.
could have just said that on the spaces if he really wanted an out. He lied and said there was no recording. So like if he was going to use that lie against you, he could have said that plenty of times before and he never did.
He didn't say
So
it
why would
publicly
he lie
until
now?
recently, now that we're not talking and now that I'm
Right.
already out here, because I think he knows if he had said that openly and I knew about him saying that to Bettero to go to Karen's lawyers with, I would have that would have been, I wouldn't have been okay with that. I would have started talking about it and the timeline and how it couldn't have been me. He knows if he did
Yeah.
that. That's
But
why it's not
yeah,
till recently. I think probably because they told Bettero, which is what Bettero went to Karen's lawyers with. And
that's
basically
such bullshit.
the
Yeah.
agreement was, okay, we know there's a recording out there, obviously, like we weren't bluffing before. Aiden needs to stop talking shit about her, or yeah, like then this will be a legal issue, basically.
Can I
Yeah.
ask
That's
you a
why I love
question,
those.
Meredith? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Paris is in the comments. She wants to know about the shoe, or he. I don't know who Paris is, but about the shoe. She.
I don't remember how his shoe got there. I don't even remember. I wasn't in the room when he found it there. I was really, really sick that morning, like really, really sick. So I can't say with 100% certainty I didn't put his shoe in there, but I know by the time he said he was missing his shoe, he had like other shoes. He had like two or three other pairs of shoes there. He had like, if you see all those clothes on the floor in my room where he's like on the floor, those are mostly his clothes. And then my outfit from that night ended up there. But those are mostly his clothes. He had sneakers there. And I say to him several times, like, you have a pair of sneakers to put on if you want to leave. Like, just put those on, bro. And he
Yeah.
found his, or I may have been like in the bathroom.
I mean, it's so
throwing up. At that
conveniently
point,
placed. Like, and then he took a photo of it. Like, what? Come on. I mean, who believes
Yeah.
that you put a shoe
I
in a
don't remember
cabinet?
doing that. I don't remember doing that, but I also don't remember a lot of things. Again, it was a drunken night. It was a drunken, embarrassing fight between two adults that I never hoped would see the light of day. And this narrative that it was put out there to we were fine like the next day pretty much. And I
Yeah.
guess I know I really
Yeah,
so we were
those are
just
toxic.
fine like together the next day. Yeah, I get that.
There's lots of relationships like that.
But-
That's what happens.
But it
Yes.
also
I mean,
it also
it's
just
normal.
proves this
I mean,
wasn't this like
yeah.
this wasn't this like
Yes.
dangerous situation where he was some victim. And I mean, you see him yelling at me too. He's screaming at me and he's like, "Don't fuck with me" and all this stuff. And he's like, and the tantrum thing. Like, I only wish I'd started recording like 30 seconds earlier. Like, I know the clip is like him crying, but it started out with just it was a violent, aggressive tantrum. Him pounding the floor. Where I'm like, please do this on the bed or just don't do it at all. Like, please, like stop. I need like, you're gonna get me kicked out of my apartment. Like people are gonna call the police. Like please stop. I'm like it started out as very angry and aggressive, and I know he claims this is like a PTSD thing, but I have been there with him where he actually has had real panic attacks. Like right when he got out of jail, when Lindsay the fake restraining order violation, when he was like very much in fear he was going right back to jail. I've seen him when it's real, and I know when he's faking. Like when the fake crying right after the verdict. Like I've seen him really cry before when he's coming out, when he's making that stupid frowning face that he's made his cover photo, that was like fake crying. He was like trying to make it look like he was crying, walking out to have like his picture taken like that. Like I know him so well at this point that I know when he's faking stuff. Like, and you can tell because then we had the whole like more record, like an embarrassing drunken fight, and the fact that he. So this is another thing I thought of
I totally
yesterday.
believe you, and I can see that. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's totally. I mean, I don't want to say normal because it's like a bad relationship, but that is a normal thing that happens sometimes in relationships. I get it. I
I've been
believe
there.
you.
Like, listen,
100%.
the bottom line is actions speak louder than words. Different. Did I ever call the police? Did I ever tell anybody he hit me? No. 9 months later, I still didn't say that ever. And another thing I thought of yesterday too, when I so he did call the police at one point, and I remember this because I was watching another video footage of us talking after we went back inside where I'm like, this is so embarrassing. You called the police over the shoe. Like, people can public records request this, right? I was like, did you say my name? He's like, I don't think so. He's like, I don't even know. But I remember now parts of it. It was out in the hall. He was being loud. And I was like, I just want him to either leave or come back inside. I was like, I don't have his shoe. But he was like calling him. He's like, I can't find my shoe. Like, I think my
Wait,
girlfriend
he
took
called
it.
the police about the shoe? Because I don't remember that.
What?
He called the police about the shoe being missing?
Yeah. And he
Oh,
doesn't
shit.
say anything about like, oh, my girlfriend is like being like abusive. Nothing like that. It literally ended with like, they're like, you want us to like send somebody over to like find your shoe and key? They're like, we don't really do that. Maybe just go to bed. And then he's like, then he just hung up on them and stuff.
Oh
like,
my God.
That's why he's already, I'm sure next he's just going to backtrack on his whole things about Karen. Yeah, damn well I did text him about this. And this was in January. And you know what? He stayed with me for another 7 months after. If he was really that worried about it, why wasn't he telling his lawyers at then? Like this narrative that he's this victim of me and he's done nothing wrong and I'm like crazy. And no, there were many times after that I tried to break up with him. I had no idea about all the women he was with behind the scenes. Some of them I'm still learning about from listening to his live today. If I knew about all of them, and it wasn't, he made it every time I tried to end things, he would beg me to stay. And I can't live without you. I need you. And then guilt me into like at first it would just be like, I need you in my life. Then it's like, fine, you don't care about my legal case. You know I can't like keep getting through my case without you. And like you're doing this to me and you're sabotaging my case now. It would gradually twist into this guilt trip that I'd finally pick up the phone those days.
Hey, Meredith, there are quite a few people in the comments who are saying that they can't hear a whole lot, and there are a couple of people wondering if you'd be willing to restart it to see if maybe that fixes the issue.
Sure, I can start a new one.
Okay.
That's okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Why
didn't
don't
mean to
all
like
right. So
interrupt,
give people a
but
couple minutes. I'll start it up, get everybody back as speakers and everything. So we'll do that.
Can you, and you know, Boomer here. So when you try to like, if you want me to speak again, I don't know what you
I'll
have to
invite
do,
you
but
as speaker. I'll invite all four of you. Yeah, these people.
all right.
All right,
Thank you.
bye. Yeah.
Bye bye.